When young Sheldon ended, it left behind a rich legacy of characters, storylines, and emotional stakes, especially in the Cooper household. But as the universe expands with Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, fans are asking a big question: how can this spin-off continue to feel like part of the Big Bang Theory family without its brightest star, Sheldon Cooper? Now, a clever creative decision may have just solved that Season 2 dilemma, not by bringing Sheldon back, but by introducing a character who fills his narrative shoes in a surprisingly organic way. The missing Sheldon energy. Let's be honest. Even when he's not on screen, Sheldon Cooper casts a long shadow. He was the gravitational center of both The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, and audiences have come to expect a certain type of quirky, cerebral humor from this universe. Young Sheldon Season 1 of the spin-off, which follows Georgie and Mandy's chaotic new life as young parents and spouses, wisely focused on carving out its own tone, a mix of heartfelt family drama, workplace comedy, and slice-of-life parenting chaos. It worked, mostly. But one issue became clear as Season 1 progressed: the absence of a Sheldon-like voice left a narrative gap. Not because the show needed another genius physicist, but because Sheldon often served as a truth teller, the character who challenged social norms, forced growth, and, ironically, brought people together through his eccentricity. By Season 2, the writers seem to have realized this too, and they may have quietly solved the problem by introducing a new character who channels Sheldon's narrative function without feeling like a cheap imitation. Enter Cece, the tiny replacement with a big brain. The surprising Sheldon replacement may not be who fans expected, or even old enough to drive. In Season 2 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, the breakout character is none other than Cece Cooper, the daughter of Georgie and Mandy. While just a toddler in Season 1, time has passed, and Cece is now a precocious 6-year-old with a razor-sharp tongue and an uncanny ability to notice everything. She's observant. She's brutally honest. She asks questions that make adults uncomfortable. And she's starting to show signs of being intellectually gifted, possibly even more so than her uncle Sheldon was at the same age. In short, Cece is becoming the new Sheldon of the show, not in personality but in purpose. And it's working beautifully. Why Cece works as a narrative successor. The brilliance of using Cece as the new eccentric voice lies in the show's natural evolution. Where young Sheldon showed the world through the eyes of a hyper-intelligent child in a misunderstood Southern family, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage flips the lens. It's now about young adults struggling to build a life while raising a child who sees the world differently, much like Mary and George once did with Sheldon. This structure allows the writers to mirror the themes of the original shows: nature versus nurture, family versus individuality, tradition versus modernity, while also exploring how Sheldon's legacy continues through the next generation. Cece isn't a carbon copy of Sheldon. She's emotional, creative, even socially intuitive in ways he wasn't. But she also says things like, "If Santa doesn't have a degree in logistics, how does he manage global package distribution in one night?" It's the kind of line that could have come straight from young Sheldon, only now, it's through the mouth of a little girl who's figuring out her place in the world while challenging her parents to grow up faster than they'd like. Solving the tone dilemma. One of Season 1's struggles was tonal consistency. At times, the show leaned heavily into domestic comedy, other times, it drifted into melodrama. Without a unifying perspective, it occasionally felt like two shows stitched together. Cece's emerging voice solves that problem by grounding the show in a new perspective, that of a child seeing adult dysfunction with blunt innocence. Much like Sheldon did, Cece acts as both commentator and catalyst. She exposes contradictions in adult behavior, questions family traditions, and inadvertently nudges her parents toward growth. She even starts to build a rapport with her uncle Sheldon through occasional voiceovers or letters read aloud, providing a clever storytelling bridge between shows. And let's be clear, it's not about making Cece the next Sheldon in universe. It's about letting her fulfill a similar structural role: the wise fool, the Socratic child, the unintentional truth bomber who keeps the show emotionally honest. A smart way to keep Sheldon in the conversation. Jim Parsons, who still narrates young Sheldon and now occasionally lends his voice to the spin-off, has reportedly agreed to cameo via voiceover as older Sheldon writing a memoir within the memoir. In one episode, he remarks, "I used to think I was the only gifted Cooper. Then Cece came along and made me feel like an intellectual uncle." This meta-commentary works on several levels. It acknowledges Sheldon's absence, reinforces Cece's importance, and keeps the spin-off connected to its roots without dragging the original characters back into the spotlight. It's smart, respectful, and avoids the nostalgia trap so many legacy shows fall into. What this means for the future. If Season 2 continues to build on Cece as a central voice, alongside the evolving dynamics between Georgie and Mandy, the show might find its sweet spot. Viewers get a mix of heartfelt parenting challenges, generational tension, and the intellectual spark that made young Sheldon resonate in the first place. And if Cece continues to grow into her role as the new Sheldon function, the show might even outlive its original premise. Imagine a future where Georgie and Mandy's first marriage becomes Cece Cooper's complicated childhood. Stranger things have happened in the Big Bang Theory universe. Final thoughts. Replacing Sheldon Cooper is an impossible task, and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage doesn't try to. Instead, it offers something more subtle, a character who inherits Sheldon's narrative role, but not his identity. Cece is funny, strange, brilliant, and lovable, but in her own unique way. She gives the show its soul, its spark, and its throwline to the broader Cooper family legacy. In doing so, the show has not only solved its Season 2 identity crisis, it may have just secured its place as the next great chapter in the Big Bang saga. Let me know if you'd like this reformatted for a blog, video script, or with images or social media snippets.